So I'm sharing a screen right now. So good evening, everyone. And we are talking about in last session that is object-oriented programming. And we complete one example how to write a class here. Okay, so in that class we have seen the various component of what that class. That is a data member, uh, then methods, constructor, and the properties. So constructor, you may create n number of constructor. Basically, most of the time people are writing a constructor. One is parameterized constructor and another is non-parameterized constructor. And when you taking the different definition of that constructor, that is called as a constructor overloading. Constructor is also one kind of what a method. Only difference is uh, this method is not explicitly called, it is implicitly called, means automatically called without an instance. You can call it. So it is you don't need to call that any object here. So you are not going to create instance. So this entire methods are automatically getting called when the object is created, and therefore it is called as a constructor and especially used for initializing the data member here. So we learn tutorial number 21, and inside that we implement the various way of initializing the data member. Okay, so by calling a constructor, by calling a parameterized constructor, by using a property, and by using the input data kind of one function where the people can input data on runtime. Okay, and we create a person.java, and that person.java is a class. We define separately here. So if you see this person data and the data member are name and age, and these are the constructor here. Okay, and the parameterized constructor input data and display data. So today I'm going to explain the inheritance part. So let us see the object-oriented programming. Whatever we learn that we are implementing here, that is single inheritance. So we are going to understand the single inheritance part here. So if you see the notes here, that this is my person class, and this person class is going to inherited uh, by student class here. So the properties of person class are available to student class also. Okay, if we are extending person class as a student. Okay, so I'm creating a class called as a student here. So I'm choosing a pack and creating a class student here. Okay, student class. And clicking just I'm writing here a word called as a extend. So I'm extending this from a person class. So once you extend these from the person class, then you are allowed to use the constructor of the student class as well as person class also. And here I know person class has a two constructor. Okay, so one is parameterized and non-parameterized, and it has a two member name and age. Same thing if I doing here, I am going to create a public and I'm writing in a roll number. So roll number is one of the and float percentage or double percentage. Okay, percentage is another data member. So whenever I want to take name and age, I will always take name and age from the student class. Person class. So it is inherited, student class is inherited or extended by person class. So all those data members are available. Okay. So now I'm using public and try to create a constructor here by using the insert code part, and if I am using the constructor here. So they are saying you can implement a constructor by choosing the option roll number and percentage, as well as you can call base constructor by using super. I'm choosing generate here. So there are mm, two constructors are get created when you are passing roll number and percentage. So student is get created. But if you want to pass roll number, percentage, as well as name and age, so these name and age are the data member which is belongs to person class. So constructor is automatically defined here, and there is something called as a super method. So super method is always called the base constructor here. So if you choose a super here, so that means it is going to call a parameterized constructor. Same thing, I will simply write a super here, and I want to create a constructor without any parameter. So I'm just initializing a roll number here by using this dot roll number equal to some one value, and I'm writing this dot percentage equal to the some percentage like 87.45 f. Okay, it's a float value, not float, it's a double value, so I don't need to put f. So it is 7.45%. And now I'm calling a simple a super here. So you're going to call the base class constructor non-parameterized base class constructor. And this is a parameterized base class constructor. So whatever the parameter name and age we are passing here, that is available here. This depends upon your wish. If you don't want to use this, which is only initializing roll number and percentage when you are creating a student object. Okay, and you can taking care of your initialization of your base class, then you are going to use this. So my suggestion is that don't implement this, because my base class, derived class constructor are going to initialize both the base class constructor as well as the derived class constructor data member. So all initialization are taking place here by using a super method here. So super is nothing but it's calling a base. We are going to see in a debugging process here. So same data type which I'm going to take, which I already use in person class. So the data is input data, means the member which I'm using input data. The same uh, method, and you are allowed to give a different name here. Okay, but I just want to show something different here. So input data will do, and if you want to keep the same name here, input data, so here also in student also I'm keeping the same, but it is only inputting the data of what the roll number, not roll number and percentage. So I'm going to write accordingly system dot out dot println and say the roll number here, and then I need a scanner object. So I'm choosing a scanner object AC equal to new then the system dot in object. So it's an input type of object, a reference I'm creating as a SC object. So the spelling is not correct. Check scanner SC equal to new scanner. So it's supposed to give me input Java UT. Okay, the input inputting the roll number. So roll number equal to SC dot next int integer value, and then I'm taking a percentage out of println, say enter a percentage. And here I'm using a percentage equal to sc dot next double because it is a double data type. So you already know the use of what dice. So now I want to take care of my input data of base class also. So I'm choosing super dot input data here. So what will happen? So before taking an input of roll number and percentage is going to call the input data of his base class. So my base class is person here. So control goes to the base class and the input data are taking place there. Similarly, I'm going to use a display data person. There is a method called as a display data. The same method I'm going to use here. Display data, and you are allowed to use a different name. Again I'm repeating, and I'm calling the display data here and want to print the okay, the first is roll number and the percentage, so equal to and plus roll number here and the percentage. System dot out dot print to print a percent equal to plus percentage. So now look at super dot display data is going to call the base class display data, and it's going to print the name and age, and after that it's going to print roll number and the percentage. So this is my input data, display data, and student objects are there, and I can set the property for the same. So whenever I want to assign a property of roll number and a percentage, so I should write a getter and setter here. So again, inserting code by pressing the right click and getter and setter, and just generating this property. So by default, it is a public. So it's going to set a roll number and return roll number. It's going to set percentage and return. So if I'm creating an object of student, they are allowed to use a property of what the person classes. That is the set age and get age and set name and get name. That also we are going to see. So this is a single inheritance. So I extend my student class because student is a person. So whatever the property person has, it is carry forward to student also, and even methods also, by using even constructor also by using super keyword and super will call their super class, and you can create the object of student instead of object of person. So I am creating my new tutorial, and that is tutorial number 22. And in this tutorial 22, we are going to understand the single inheritance here. So this is to understand the single inheritance. So there is a base class is person dot java, and the derived class uh, extended class is what it called the student of Java. So you can use refer these classes. So I'm going to create directly object of student. So public static void main and string arguments here, and inside that I'm going to create my student object. Student is equal to new student. Mm, See, if you want to call uh, display data here, so it's going to show the respective initialization. So look at the person. The initial input is Sukiram and age is 34. Okay, same way, in student, the initialization is roll number and percentage is 87.5. 87.45. So if you run this program, you are getting this output. Okay. So I'm running this program by pressing right click and I'm checking the output. So you are getting the output here, and they are showing the initialization. That is name is Sukhiram and age is 34. And I'm getting call from calculate method because my person class has a calculate method. So I'm not going to call this calculate method here. Okay, I'm just making uh, a comment here. So it is treated as a comment. So it will not taking a part in compilation process here. Okay. So instead of deleting, I'm just hiding that. Means hiding this particular method. Okay, not hiding, commenting this method. So look at this Sukhiram age 34 number 1 87 and 45. Now another constructor, that is parameterized constructor. So if I'm creating another object is and choosing new student here and not S1 S2 here, and here I'm passing a parameter. The first parameter is roll number. You have to give a preference to the uh, class members. The first is roll number. Second is percentage. So if I'm writing 79.85. And third is a name. That is a person name. So I'm writing a person name as Dukhiram here. Okay. And the after that I'm writing age. So age is 22 here. So my parameterized constructor is getting called, and when I'm choosing s2 dot display data here. So display data will display this value, and these two values are using parameterized constructor of student, and these two values is initializing the super uh, class constructor. Okay, that is person class construction. So my derived object will take care of initialization of all these four parameters. So because it is available there, if you look at it, this is a first initialization, this is second initialization, and here the Kiran age 22, roll number 2, and the person is 79.8. And this is the previous non-parameterized constructor initialization. Third part is if you are creating a student S3 and you are choosing new student here, and you are decided to take value to input data here, and then you are taking the display data for the same thing. So instead of showing all those stuff, so I'm just commenting it here, and I will check only the S3 part here. So it will give a fast comparison. So I'm just using the student S3 here. So if you look at that, so it's asking for a name, which is name is nothing but so if I'm writing Suresh, it is coming from a person class. And age here I'm writing is 21-year-old, and the roll number 3, and the percentage here I'm writing 56.43. All these data I'm taking from input data here. So input data is a member method of my class student, and it's calling the input data of one the super class. Okay, and so similarly, so these are the S1, S2, S3, and you are displaying. If I am creating another object, uh, that is student S4 equal to new student. But this time I have decided to use a property for the same here. Okay, so to initialize, so I'm choosing S4 dot. There is a set name. I can use a set name here, even though this property is inherited from the base class. So I'm writing a set name. Ramesh is the name of what that, and S4 dot. I'm using set age. Okay, and I'm writing age as a 23 here, and S4 dot roll number. So I'm going to choose a set roll number here. The roll number is 101 and I'm using a percentage. So I'm choosing set percentage and writing some percentage 87.56. So this is set property of both the classes. Okay, so this is a property from base classes, from base class, and these are the property from inherited. Inherited. Okay, you can say derived. Okay, so we are allowed to use a base class property as well as derived class. Similarly, I'm going to print the value here. So if I'm choosing system dot out dot print element and I want to print a name equal to and plus I'm choosing s4 dot there is a get name. Okay, so setter getter will give you that out dot print element. Yeah, I'm writing age equal to then s4 dot get age and the next is system dot out dot print element here name age and percentage equal to plus s4 dot get percentage here and if I want to print a roll number so in any order you can choose system dot out dot print element and equal to and then plus s4 dot get roll number here. So here is shown roll number, name, age, and the percentage of is for object here. So I don't need to use a display data. Even though if I'm not using this property get, it will show same thing with the help of display data if I'm choosing s4 dot display data. So if I'm running this, so everything will get here and I'm having the object for some S4. So it's some restriction, and the roll number is 2 and the percentage is 87.63. So if you look at that, so there is a Suresh, okay, and the roll number is taken, and then there is a Ramesh. So roll number is shown here and age is 23. If you see the output, so there are four objects and the four objects output are displayed here. Okay. So in this way, you can choose uh, by defining a class, you can create a single inheritance. Okay, so one more class is coming to define here. And it is also extended from there. So I just want to show employee class here. Okay, and that is also extends from a person class. The same thing is taking place here. Add one more class I'm going to use, and that is a manager here. And that manager class is extends from employee. Okay, so this is something called as a multi-level inheritance. Okay, so there are three class: person, employee, and manager. Okay, and person has a two members, employee has suppose three members. So I'm writing a three member here, employee ID. Okay, and then uh, employee salary here. Okay, employee post. And the third part is I'm writing the employee salary here. So int m sal. Okay, so these are the members, and I can create the a constructor accordingly. So insert code, I'm choosing a constructor. I'm initializing both the data member here and click on general. So they are creating a number constructor. So I don't want to use this. Okay, even though if I'm using this, in that case, I have to remove this and assign some value 1001 Okay, employee here, and I'm writing programmer as a post here. Okay, and employee salary is 35,000. Okay, and this is employee constructor. This is employee constructor. So this constructor already, and here I'm using same public static public void input data here. Okay. And that input data is also taking an input from a superclass. So superclass of this input data is getting called. Right. Same thing I'm going to do here for public display data. I have already created, but the super class is even same here, display data here, and you can write the statement according. Okay, so these are the part, and you can set a properties here by simply inserting code and say getter and setter and selecting it. So other properties also automatically get generated. You don't need to write it. For inputting data, I have to copy the tutorial number 21 contents here. Okay, so this is my tutorial number 22 here. So I'm using the content of my uh, student class here. Okay, and only the difference is I'm replacing these with the other data. So I'm choosing employee here. I'm just pasting here and replacing these with a roll number. So instead of roll number, I'm using employee ID here. Okay, and instead of percentage, mm, using employee post. And here I simply write the next because it is a string kind of data. Okay, and here enter the employee ID, and here asking for employee posting. And the next part is copying and pasting it. And that is the last that is employee salary. So I'm choosing employee salary. That is again next int is integer employee salary. So I will take that. Okay. I just want to show all those stuff here. And same thing I'm going to use here in display data. And only single part I'm going to take in a manager. So we understand what is the difference. So I'm just printing the employee ID here. Employee ID equal to plus EMP ID. So this is the way you can display the output. Employee name, name employee post, and the next is employee salary. This is equal to employee. All these are uh, the single inheritance. Now I'm going to show a multiple inheritance here. So when I'm creating a manager, and only I'm taking private, intensive, intensive. So whatever may be intensive is there. I'm using this a simple intensive part, and I'm already extend this from employee. So when I'm clicking on insert code, I'm looking for a constructor here. So you people are getting this constructor for incentives as well as if you see this employee and this employee inherited from here. So there is a manager and manager where you are using incentives and writing incentives as a rupees 10,000. Simple, no parameter. But here now look at that this particular employee ID is there, post is there, employee salary is there. So this is employee initialization, and his super class is the person initialization is also taking place here. So in that case, manager must use these particular uh, okay parts on just putting the incentives before that. Okay, and I can write a simple method and public void, and the method is input data. Okay, and that will call the super of input data of employee. So I'm choosing super input. I'm taking the scanner object here. So scanner is equal to new scanner. Here, mm, taking the value from the user here. So importing the respective utility. Now, so system dot out dot println here. The incentive and the people are insert intensive incentives for spelling is wrong here. So I have to correct this spelling. Maybe what I have to change this part. Okay. So look at these incentives. I'm taking SC dot next thing will be the integer kind of data. So next thing. So same thing I'm using for a display data, public void. A display data is going to call the employee, uh, the super of dot display data. So employee display data is called, and simply I'm printing the object of incentives. Okay, equal to and plus incentives. Okay. So now I'm creating the Java class, and that is tutorial number 22 or 23. So here to understand the multi-level inheritance, multi-level level inheritance. That there is a base class is and then extended class employee here, and probably extended class is and so manager superclass is employee, employee superclass is person. So I'm going to write public static void main arguments and I'm creating object of manager. So if you see object of manager, and so manager so I'm going to call the respective classes. So I'm choosing uh, input data and I'm choosing display. So I just want to show only a single part because the rest of the things are automatically from here. So if you run this program, you are actually getting the topmost person class input here. So this is my manager name. Manager name is Prakash, okay. And age is 55, and employee ID is 1002, and the post is a manager. Incentive employee salary is 75,000, and incentives is 10,000. Okay, and these are the display the name, Prakash, age, post, employee post, manager, employee salary, everything, all the data are getting called here. So if you want to see, I will show you in a fast, because this a single inheritance mm, give you all kind of what clear picture. So I'm choosing a setup here, and in setup configuration I'm taking this tutorial number 23 as a main uh, program, okay, or main application. So I'm starting the debugging step into, so my tutorial number 23 is getting called. So if you see tutorial number 23, manager object is actually going to call here, and manager object is going to call the constructor of manager. So if you click on step into, so it's going to call a manager constructor. So if you look at this, this is a manager constructor, and initialization is taking place here. Okay, so I'm going inside the manager. So incentives is going to initialize, and then again it's returning to the next part. So manager is initializing, but other arguments and all other stuffs also get initialized. So if you look at that, so M1 has inherited a lot of things here. If you look at M1 is inherited from employee post, employee name, employee ID, and age. So name and age are inherited from employee post. So all these are get available to whom, the manager object here. Okay. So if you want to see these again, so again I'm running this debugging part, and I'm showing by F7. F7 is going to show inside that. So manager is calling a super of what the manager. So if I'm clicking on step into, so manager is going to call employee. Okay. And when I'm going inside, again employee is going to call a person. So if you look at that, uh, the steps behind the respective base class. So everyone is calling their respective base class here, and then initialization is taking place. So when I'm going inside, the person also has the base class that is called as an object, that I already told you that all the classes are inherited from objects. So once the person, the super class is getting called, then it will return to employee class, and employee class is initializing, then it will return to a manager class. Then manager data are get initialized here. So all these are orders. The same way input data and display orders are also taking place. So this is all about the inheritance which we are talking about. So if you see, I already explained in a notes, and that notes you will get soon. So this is inheritance base class, and this is multi-level inheritance. See, these are the data member I'm talking about. So name and age. Name and age is available to employee also, and this is employee ID, employee post, and employee salary. And this is incentives manager. So manager have got all the data member of their super classes, okay, or senior super classes kind of. So in multiple inheritance is not available in Java, so that's why I'm not going to show you. So I'm not going to create a teacher class which it is going to inherited from person and a subject partly. Hierarchical, we already learned that the person, student, employee, and teacher, they all are inherited from the same class called as a person. So you can create the object of student, employee, and a teacher. So if you want to see the hierarchical in tutorial number, if you choose a tutorial number 4 here, and you want to see uh, 24 here, and if you want to see to understand the hierarchical, hierarchical inheritance here. Okay, so here I'm writing public. uh, okay, and I'm creating a object of student. So I can create an object of student. I can create an object of employee. So I will write student is one equal to new student, and uh, next is employee. So I'm choosing employee even equal to new employee. And if there is a teacher class, I don't have a teacher class right now, but I'm going to show that here. So to any n number of what the inherited classes I will inherited from same base class. So my student also has a base class person, and employee also has a base class person. So I can choose input data for employee as well as the student, and I can use a display data for employee as well as a student. Okay, so two separate classes I'm inherited from a same class. And if I'm handling two different objects, so I will use this. If you look at that, it's going to collect input data for a student first. So I'm writing Ramesh. Okay, and age is 22, and roll number is 1, and percentage is 99.99. So now it's going to ask the employee data. So Suresh, and age is 35, and the employee ID is 1001, and the employee force is the salary is 55,000. Okay, so in this way we can show a separate data for student as well as the separate data for the employee here. So if you see, it's printing the Ramesh student data, and it's printing employee Suresh data here separate. Okay. So these two objects we can create in one of the application. This is tutorial 24. So I can create n number of object and achieve the hierarchical inheritances. Hybrid inheritance is a combination of any two inheritance, and it's called hybrid inheritance. So you can check from yourself that you can combine multi-level inheritance with multi-level inheritance. You can combine with the hierarchical inheritance also. Okay, and for example, furtherly, if you are choosing employees inherited as a manager here, so it's a combination of hierarchical and a multi-level here. So if I'm adding a manager below employee, so it's become an example of hybrid inheritance. It's a combination of any two inheritance here. Okay, so let us understand polymorphism now. We are talking about what is polymorphism. So it's required abstract class. It's required method overloading and overriding. So let us understand a polymorphism. So I'm creating a Java class called as a shape here. Okay, so shape is my the class. Okay, and it is an abstract class, so I'm going to use a keyword called as abstract. Okay, and abstract class, and which has uh, abstract public void. Okay, raw. So this is abstract method. So I can say it is a virtual method, so which don't have any body, don't have any kind of what, any kind of data member here. Okay, so this is a shape class. Now I'm going to create a one concrete class here. Okay, and I'm creating a one concrete class, and the name of that class is a line here. Okay, and I'm inheriting this class from a shape class. So I'm using extends from shape here. So this is a concrete class, and you are going to create a override function here. And so inserting part and say override method, and the override method is what? The draw method is override. I don't want the override method from object, so I'm simply generating a override method of what draw. And so what if this draw don't have any body, then it's going to call the super draw. But this body have this, and this is abstract method. So I'm simply writing system dot printing, and line is fine. Okay, and line is drawing is a message I'm passing. So similarly, I'm going to create the new Java class, and that is known as a rectangle here. Uh, Rectangle is another class which is also extends from a shape class here. Okay, and the same inheritance I'm doing here. I'm choosing insert code, and I'm choosing override method for the draw. Okay, which is generate here. So I'm writing a body of one draw. If you don't want to use a super draw because it don't have any body, so in that case you are going to write only a system dot out of rectangle, and the rectangle is from. And the next part is you are going to create a circle here. So I'm choosing Java class part of the circle. Okay, and when I click on finish here, so circle is inherited from shape here. Uh, I'm using the public void draw here again, and it's not passing any kind of point parameter here. Okay, and it has basic system dot out dot print element. Say circle is fine. So look at this. So this is my three classes and one uh, abstract class. So this is my one abstract class, and these are the three concrete classes which has a body and maybe a data member here. So I'm not showing a data member around here, but I would like to use a Java class, and that is tutorial number 24, 25. So here to understand the polymorphism, polymorphism. Polymorphism we are using here to create the public static void main and string arguments here, passing, and I'm creating a circle class. This is not a polymorphism which I'm showing right now. So line L1 equal to new line here, and I'm choosing rectangle R1 equal to new rectangle. I'm going to use circle C1 equal to new. So I'm going to call a respective draw. L1 draw and L2 R1 draw and C1 draw. And C1 draw. So yeah, I'm creating a object of each class, concrete class. So obviously it's going to call the respective class method. I'm going to show the respective uh, output here. So line is drawing, rectangle is drawing, and circle is drawing. This is not called a polymorphism. So if I'm using something, a shape class, I'm trying to use S equal to, and I'm choosing a new, if I'm trying to create a shape S here, so if you see shape S, and if you are trying to create S equal to new shape, it won't allow you to do that, because if you see here saying that it is abstract class, and abstract class cannot be initiated. Okay, so we can't initiate abstract class. So in that case, I will refer abstract class as a to the some concrete class. So I'm saying my shape is line now, So when I'm saying S equal to new line, so now S is a shape which now actually be taking the reference of object line. So these anomalous objects are referring S. So S draw is I'm going to call here. So similarly, I am going to call a new rectangle here. Mm, Next part, S is going to referring a new rectangle. And I'm calling S dot draw, and then I'm choosing a circle here. So look at the ace. Ace is only having a single method, which is empty method. Basically, if you choose a shape class here, shape class don't have any body here. But when I'm using this ace and referring to the respective class object here. So now my ace is changing his form. Sometimes it is acts as a line, sometimes it is acts as a rectangle, and sometimes it is acts as a circle. And the respective method is overridden by that method. So overriding is taking place about that method. Okay, and this is called as a polymorphism. So my shape is taking a many form. Poly means many, and morphism means shape or forms. Okay, so my ace is taking a many forms, and now it is calling a line is drawing, a rectangle is drawing, and circle is drawing. Because I can't create the object of is okay. I can't instantiate the shape object here, but I can refer my abstract object to any concrete object. And as per my requirement, so I can create a polymorphic class like shape, and I can call the respective methods here. So as per user choice, user is a runtime user will select the object accordingly, and the respective class is actually available. So that's why in last session I actually telling you about the paintbrush. So these are the n number of shapes. So runtime the user will decide that he wants to choose a draw method. So there is a only class shape who is now referring that object of line, and the draw is taking place here. Okay. Similarly with the circle, and similarly with the rectangle here. So if you want to design such kind of what application in Java, you can. Okay, and for that you are going to create the shape object, okay, here as a abstract class, and you have to create the uh, rectangle, line and circle classes, and you are referring those to the respective abstract class. So this is overriding, and all other stuff I already explained here. So if you see, this is how the method overriding is taking place here, and you can check all other stuff here. So I already explained in this note. So you can see the draw method, which is abstract method, which is I'm showing in an empty form, and this draw has some body, and these draw don't have. Same thing you can use for fruit. You are going to create a fruit as an abstract class, and the rest of the classes mango, apple, pineapple, jackfruit are your concrete class, and you can saying that a fruit is a mango, fruit is a apple, and fruit is a pineapple, and fruit is a jackfruit. Then the taste is different. Okay, but this empty taste will actually overriding with the concrete taste body here, and that is the reason it is empty. So tomorrow I'm going to explain the inheritance, not inheritance, the interface. What is an interface, and how it is used in a Java, and what is the difference between the abstract class and interface, that also we are going to learn. And after that I'm going to explain the exception handling in Java, and then after completing the exception handling, in the next class we are going to learn file handling. Okay, and after that we are going to understand the database connectivity with the Java. Okay, so that part we are going to see, and whatever the information we are creating inside the class, that we want to permanently store in somewhere. So either we store those information inside the file, or we are storing that information inside the database. Okay, so you can create a small project inside the core Java by using this existing technology. Whatever we learn in core Java, that everything is possible in all programming language. Similar kind of what the syntax you can learn in a respective programming language. The flow is important. Okay, so the flow, learning flow uh, is important, and you can apply this whatever we learn, okay, within this 15 days. Okay, so you can use the same flow in other language like Python and C++ and C, whatever the new language coming into the future, you can learn on the basis of that. Okay, so exception handling is also there, file handling is also there, array initialization is also there. Okay, and creation of what the class is also there. Okay, class has constructor, destructor, everything is there also there, and you can find out only the syntax is what the different here, and you check for a syntax and the method of writing the functions and declaration, that is only you want to learn. And the you can learn any language on the basis of what the Java or C++, which I taught here. Thank you. So